It is now 5 o'clock. I will call the meeting of the Waxahachie Independent School District Board of Trustees to order. Let the record show that all 7 trustees are in attendance, and this meeting has been duly called, and the notice of meeting has been duly posted for time and manner required by law. At this time, I'll ask Mr. Cooper to lead us in our invocation, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance by Malone, Keegan, and Hudson Seal.
Let us give thanks. Heavenly Father, most gracious Son of God, Father, we thank you for the opportunity to serve. Father, we thank you for bringing us here this evening safe. Father, we just ask that you would help us to keep the main thing, which is the future of our kids. Father, we thank you for WISD in the community. Father, we look forward to the greater days that are before us. And Father, we just ask that you would, again, help us to keep our minds straight and steered. And Father, if we've faltered in any area, we ask that you would correct us. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Thank God, amen.
Thank you. Okay, next item on our agenda is our open forum. I did not believe we have anyone signed up to speak tonight, so at this point, the board's going to convene in a closed session according to section 551.001 et sec of the Texas Government Code. It is now 5:02 p.m. the board's going to reconvene back into open session. We're going to move to action item A, which is consideration with possible action regarding a level 3 employee grievance appeal. Can I have a motion, please?
I move to uphold the administrative decision at Level 2 and to deny the requested remedies. I further move to place on a future board meeting agenda to discuss special education and 504 compliance.
A motion by Mrs. Timmerman. Do I have a second?
I second.
A second by Mrs. Kriegel. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Action item B will be consideration with possible action to hire a boys athletic coordinator and head football coach. Coach Rogers, I'm assuming that's why we have a large crowd tonight.
This is awesome. Appreciate y'all coming out tonight. Good evening, board, Ms. McCutcheon. We're pleased to recommend Mr. Lawrence Williams for the position of head football coach and boys athletic coordinator for Waxahachie High School. Coach Williams brings 29 years of experience and a deep appreciation for the rich traditions and values of Waxahachie High School. He believes in maintaining a broad-based athletic program that provides all students interested in athletics with the opportunity to participate. His motto of, "I will not allow you to fail," is reflected in his hands-on approach and his commitment to supporting student athletes both academically and athletically. We ask that you approve the recommendation to hire Mr. Williams as the head football coach and boys athletic coordinator for Waxahachie High School.
Okay, thank you, sir. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve action item B as presented.
I move to hire Lawrence Williams Jr. as boys athletic coordinator and head football coach.
Motion by Mr. Cooper. I have a second. Second by Mr.
We all
McCutcheon.
second.
Mr. McCutcheon, a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Mr. Williams. Coach Williams, you have 30 minutes to give a speech.
First off, I'm humbled for the opportunity that's been given to me. I won't take it lightly. I will lead to the best of my God-given ability. All right. If I don't believe that it's all about winning, I'll tell you that right now. I think the wins are going to come if I just treat the kids right and show them how to be great young men in our society. All right, we will be disciplined, and those things, and I preach it every day. But I don't want you to get it wrong, because I tell them every day, our goal is to bring a state championship to Waxahachie. I'm not going to promise it to you, but we're going to speak it into existence. And that's our number one thing. But again, I'm humbled, and I'm excited as can be, and I know these boys are ready to go. Thank you.
Thank you. So, we're going to take a brief recess because I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to take pictures, starting with Mrs. Troll right there.
Ready? Huh?
It's gonna be a minute.
All right, let's do coaches.
Dr. Ego.
Very good decision. Very good decision.
Are you going to Lovefield or DFW?
We gotta go DFW.
Oh, that's right. Thank you so much.
Very good decision.
You're a superstar.
Okay, next item on our agenda will be our report section, Report A, which will be our superintendent's report. Ms. McCutcheon, I don't know how you top what just happened, but you're up next.
Okay, well, I probably can't, but I did have something to do with hiring him, so that helps. But would like to just talk to you a little bit about our enrollment. I know you've seen this, but as of January 30, we're really steady at that 11,160-ish, specifically 11,158. I know we will have a demographic report shortly, so you'll have more information there. Did just want to thank y'all again for the district recognitions night. We had quite a few students that were recognized. We do have our final one for the district scheduled for May 18th, and that will be able to cover the rest of the student activities that we had not covered previously. And as we move into the spring calendar, just know things get really busy. 3 dates that I did want to put on your calendar for sure is the graduations. We have High School of Choice on May 20th, Global High School May 21st, and then Waxahachie High School May 22nd. We do have spring break coming up right around the corner, March 9th through 13th, and then we're just really busy. Y'all saw the activities calendar, so quite a few things happening. And then exciting news that we just shared, and I did not know they were going to put this picture on there, but kudos to Rusty East and Jacob Perry. They walked to my office and said, hey, we're filming a video, and gave them pom-poms, and they did it. So thank y'all. But our TIA, as you know, our TIA data was approved. That is huge for this district. Currently, TEA is working through designations and allotment amounts. So we will have that for our teachers. We'll be able to share that sometime around the end of April. If they're a little earlier, that's even better. But right now, we submitted our information to Texas Tech. It's now at TEA. They will determine what those designations are and which teachers. So we're excited about that. Do just want to say TIA was designed to honor and reward and retain our very best teachers. And so in keeping with that, if teachers are no longer employed here after this school year, their designation does not go to them. They have to be employed with the district on August 31st of 2026 to receive this allotment. That's how it's set up. So again, that's the retention piece. And so anyone that leaves prior to that, to this next coming school year will not receive it. But we're real excited, and I do want to just thank principals, assistant principals, Lisa Mott for coordinating, all the cabinet, everyone that put a ton of effort into this. It's such a big process, a huge endeavor, and we're successful. And so that didn't happen on accident. It was a lot of work, but we're excited about that. These two guys, I don't know about them, though. Y'all need some more pom-poms. That's good. Yeah. But anyway, thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
All right. Next report will be our informational bond 2023 construction update. Mr. Mott.
Good evening, Board. Ms. McCutcheon, I'm here to give you the May 2023 bond update for the month of February 2026. We're going to first talk about the Coleman Track and Field, which is right there behind the old Hancock building. We've had 2 weeks of very low temperatures, so it kind of put us back for about 2 weeks. We couldn't do anything out there. We've started to get back into it. The final layer was completed today, the final spray paint layers. You can see the track's been laid for a while. We just couldn't spray the paint and stuff on the actual track surface. It had to be 55 degrees and rising to do that. So we've been kind of, as you know, we weren't 55 degrees for a long time. We're having the punch walk at the mid-February on that. And then I'm going to show you a few pictures of the picture there on your left. That was the surface that was finished as of this morning. The picture on your right is it still needed one more layer. That's the one, about half of it needed a second coating. And they did that this morning. So now they're doing cleanup. And then the paint crew will come in late week, probably not till Monday, to start painting the lines, exchange zones, all those different things that you have to have on a track. But we should have it, we're planning to have takeover around the 19th at the latest, barring we don't get a lot of rain all of a sudden and push us back some more. We'll talk about Waxahachie Creek High School. So Area A, we're starting to put exterior sheathing, and the roofing will start on it Wednesday on that area. Area B, we're completing all the fireproofing internal and external there. Area C is the external fireproofing going on. So understand is the external fireproofing we have to have before we can put exterior walls up, so then we can start the roofing. And we need to really start roofing so we can start drying in that building. And so we're pushing on that right there as you see that through those three areas there. Area D and E, we're starting to actually put in the columns in that area. And then you're starting to see the CMU continuing in F. And in H, CMU, if you don't know what it is, Haydock block, the block walls, those kind of things is what that is. It's really a lot of you'll see in some of the pictures, it's where we have all the block up going in the building, and there is a lot of it in a couple of areas. And then area G, we have poured the final locker room slab. We still have the main gym slab to pour. It will probably be the last slab we pour out there because we're gonna have to drive some really big cranes up into the gym to hang those big, large beams. And that's what we'll probably do. That's the plan, to do our topping out of the gym area. And that's looking like sometime in April. Weather will be right and everything. We're gonna do the topping out with one of those beams there in the gym area is what it's looking like right now. And then you can see there, area J, we're gonna be pouring the slab this Friday and then one day next week, and that's the actual football field house. And then another area right outside there was the public bathroom right outside there. We're pouring those in Friday and then one day next week. Here's you some pictures there. You can see there in the left, the northwest building, of the site. The one on the right is the northeast there. You can see the different things going in there. The northwest, that area right there you see right below it that is the actual indoor. That slab has not been poured either. We just poured those grade beams last week. And then the area there on the right, the big area you see right there, that's your fine arts area. There's a lot of people are seeing that from the road. That's the big fly tower and all that everybody happens to be seeing. There's you a picture of the front southeast corner. That's the main front of the building. So that is all the areas you see there that you see with actually the roof structure on it. That is your main classrooms, gen ed classrooms, your admit area. That's what you're seeing all through there. The fine arts, we haven't started putting the roof on yet. The CTE, athletics area and all that, we haven't started on that area yet, putting the actual roof structure. We've got a lot of the structure, but we haven't started putting roof structure on. You can see right there, that's the front exterior there you can see. And then area A right there is the interior classrooms. We're mocking up a few classrooms to bring in a few of the WHF head of staff, like in biologies, sciences, things like that, technology department, to look at how the screens are, make sure that where we're planning to put screens, we're okay when they're teaching in those certain areas, especially in the science, because they're standing up on a presentation table. We're trying to make sure the presentation screen's high enough, but not too high. So we're trying to mock up a few things so we can get them out there to look at those things for us. We'll look here, and it looks like area F hallway there on the top left. Area F auditorium there is in the bottom middle, and then area E and D, the library, you can see that going up there on that. Any questions on that so far? So Proposition C. So a lot of this activity will be very busy this summer. We've been working on 7 or 8 different campuses through the summer months, and most of those campuses will close down, so teachers can't be on there. We're going to be doing some extensive work. Some of them will have power off, some of them will have no AC, no flooring, things like that. So we will have to close the campus down during those times, just because there won't be anybody can be in there during those times. But you're going to see some of this is that we've got quotes completed and submitted. You're going to see later tonight. A lot of that is for flooring, doors hardware, HVAC, marquees, wall tile, playground covers. This is all part of Proposition C, either priorities 1 through 4, or we've had some savings and we see some things lacking on the campuses. This is nothing that we're doing for fluff. This is all big long-term maintenance projects that take a lot of the budget. If we were to do it out of maintenance operations budget, it'd be an extensive amount at a time to do maybe one project a year at best. And so through the bond, through the savings, and through some of the actual items we're supposed to do, we're covering that and getting our buildings up to where we'd all like to see them as we go through this. Then you're going to see some of the next month, we're going to be bringing in some classroom painting. We're going to be moving some of the lockers in the last few elementaries that have lockers. They'd really like the lockers removed, go to cubbies like we're starting to see. That's a big thing. We got some casework redone. We're redoing the reception area at Turner to make it like the rest of the buildings instead of coming into the building to go into the office, things like that. And then we're going to be doing 6 campuses. We're going to bring an LED up on those 6 campuses. Any questions at all?
Mr. Mott,
Yes, ma'am.
just to be sure, the consent agenda lists a number of renovations and different things. Those are all covered under Prop A or Prop C?
Yes, ma'am. Every one of those is Prop A or Prop C. The 2 Prop A ones are the marquees, and everything else is Prop C.
Very good. Thank you very much,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mott.
It's my understanding that TxDOT let the contract this week or this month for the.
Yes, they gave it, they awarded the contract the 4th, which I believe was Thursday.
Okay.
I believe it's, maybe pronounce it wrong, I think it's Cola? Yeah, they won the contract. Feel good with the hands with them. I trying to get a meeting right now with them.
That was my next question. If
Yes,
you'd been in
I've
communication
reached
with them.
out to get a meeting set up with them, with myself and with Poe, who's building our high school, so we can communicate, so we can make sure everything goes smoothly on both sides out there.
Okay.
I want to thank you again for the tour.
Yes, ma'am.
That one thing that you were talking about, I wouldn't have had any idea what it was, but I got to see it.
Yes,
That
ma'am.
fire stuff that was dripping
Yes,
all
ma'am.
over the place.
Yes.
And two, I think it's great that you're still having teachers come out and give input.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, that's vital, so thank you.
Uh-huh.
Anything else for Mr. Mark?
Thank
Thank
you.
sir. Okay, our last report tonight will be our quarterly demographics report. Mr. Collins?
Thanks, sir. Good evening, Board and Ms. McCutcheon. We're going to go over the fall 2025 demographic report. We received this right before the Christmas break, excuse me, and so this would be our first meeting in which the agenda was still available to put it on. So just wanted to kind of walk you through what we're seeing with Zonda demographics. Looking at the economic conditions, unemployment rate within DFW and Dallas Metro is actually creeping up a little bit from where it was in August of 2025. Kaufman County was just another example that they included in this report, but we are seeing unemployment tick up a little bit. That bottom chart kind of shows you by sector of economy where we're seeing changes in employment, and so you'll see manufacturing and professional and business services saw decreases year over year, but all the other sectors that are presented actually are seeing changes, positive changes in employment. And then the large circle chart is just showing you employment by sector within the DFW area. Overall, we're looking at national housing market trends on this page, and so you'll see we start kind of low in that top chart, and then we go way up with housing, new home sales, and that was the period of COVID. Then we had the way come down after COVID, where interest rates started spiking. You'll see that our new home sales nationally have really started to level out at a rate that's actually pre the COVID era. So that's good news for us that we're starting to level out and we're starting to get in a more predictable trend and cycle. But I will point to the average monthly sales by price range. You'll see in the near future or in the most recent term a decrease on all of the price points of homes. It has started to stabilize a little bit as of July of 25 when this was report or graph was put together. You start to see a little bit of an uptick again in July, but for the most part, you're seeing a downward trend on the average monthly home sales by price point. As we look at the annual housing starts and closings, we are still a little bit inverted. This would be on a national level with single-family housing. So you're seeing closings outpacing starts at this point. We had a really huge buildup of starts as we were going through COVID, and then we inverted, and then we kind of got right again, where our closings and our starts were pretty in line with each other. But right now we are a little bit inverted with closings outpacing starts. So if we look at kind of a regional housing information, you'll see that our regional trends are really following that cyclical pattern. We have a pretty good cycle going. It's all relatively at a consistent level. You're seeing your dips kind of at the same economic point within a year. You're seeing your high points at roughly the same, but it's relatively level as we go through. You're able to see the top home builders per market share listed on here, and so D.R. Horton and Lennar keep leading the way as we go through the single-family housing within the region. We know one significant component that plays into home activity, sales, and any real activity in the housing market is going to be that interest rate. Interest rate's been all over the place. We're seeing it come back down and kind of stabilize closer to that 6% range. This is a national average in the U.S., so our area could be seeing lower rates than the national average, but overall we're seeing that trend move in the right direction to make housing more affordable for those looking to buy and to move. show you specifically for Waxahachie ISD, single-family housing activity. I will point that the fourth quarter of 2025 data was not available when this report was generated, but you'll see that the 25 information, starts and closings, are really in line and on par with 2024, and that's through 3 quarters of the year. That's not including that fourth quarter. So expecting a robust 2025 year as it relates to single-family housing activity, starts and closings. Again, you'll see a little bit that the closings are outpacing the starts, and that is really the inverse of where we were in 24, where we had such a large delta of additional starts over closings. We would expect that there would be some more closings this year to buy those available houses that were started in 24. So as we look by elementary zone, with those neighborhood elementaries is really a focus for us as we're starting to look at capacity. We start looking at number expectations, then we start looking for potential rezonings in future. But you'll see the majority of the activity, whether it's the highest activity, second highest, or third highest in any one category, is primarily identified within any one of 3 campuses, either Clift, Shackelford, or Wedgeworth. You do see some activity at Jimmy Ray, specifically the 3,200 futures. So those would be developments that there's kind of a master plan for a community. There's a plan on paper, but we've not actually broken ground to start putting the infrastructure in place to actually build a lot or build a house at this point. So a significant number of futures in that Jimmy Ray zone, but I would also point your attention down to Wedgeworth and that futures. That's a lot of future houses in that Wedgeworth zone. So we'll continue to monitor activity in that area, as we know that there will have to be another elementary that's going to help serve that part of that of the Wedgeworth zone within our district in the future. Looking at single-family construction activity within our district, this map shows you all the elementary zones, and you'll see a good array of active and future activity in pretty much every single elementary zone within the district. Marvin and Northside are a little bit excluded from that, just given their relative age and built-out status within the community, but you can see significant activity either happening currently or planned to happen in pretty much every single one of the elementary zones within the district. In total, there's about 21,000 single-family lots that are planned for in future subdivisions within Waxahachie ISD. As we kind of look through specific subdivisions at activity, highlighting in the Jimmy Ray zone, Saddlebrook Estates, which is moving into another phase of construction. We are looking at groundwork is underway for about 500 lots. And then we have average price point between $300,000 and about $410,000 or $415,000 in that area. We are seeing a little bit higher student yield in that area than we've seen as a traditional average across the district, almost 5 students for every 10 houses. Also in Myrtle Creek, subdivision that's right next to Saddlebrook, there's about 2,500 total lots that are planned in that neighborhood, and about 4,200 of those are still to come in the future. So we have about 300 vacant developed lots, 13 homes that are under construction right now. That average price point's looking at about $325,000 to about $740,000 in those houses. And so we should start really seeing some activity with the 13 homes that are underway, and then the vacant developed lots that housing activity could start at any point going forward. Take you out to the Wedgeworth zone. So kind of give you your orientation. Off of the left part of the picture on the left is Waxahachie High School, and that line that's kind of going up and down is 664. So this is between 664, Business 287, and 287. So we're looking at Ridge Crossing, at Shepherd's Place, and at Dominion Park. So at Ridge Crossing, there's 242 total lots, 114 are in the future. You're seeing that student yield on this one at about 0.318. So take you back to Saddlebrook, which was 0.484, so considerable yield difference between the two. But at Ridge Crossing, we're looking at 40 to 50 homes per year within that development. At Shepherd's Place, we have about 30 vacant developable lots and 8 homes under construction. The average price ranging from $350,000 to about $500,000, and that yield is closer to what we saw in in Saddlebrook at about 431 or 0.431. And then Dominion Park, this is all future development. Groundwork's currently underway. We anticipate delivery in the next quarter, so we'll start actually seeing some homes go out there when those lots are delivered. Quick look at multifamily housing. There are about 1,100 students currently residing in a little over 4,000 multifamily units within the district. A lot of the misconception is that multifamily housing is a real leader of student enrollment. Overall, our yield in the district is about 0.266 for multifamily housing. So we were talking about Saddlebrook at 0.484. This is roughly half of what student yield is out of Saddlebrook within multifamily housing. But there's still activity happening, multifamily housing, in a good number of the zones in the district, elementary zones. Kind of look at enrollment trends. We're looking at newcomers and leavers, so the mobility of our student population. In 25-26, this is information out of Skyward, our student information systems. For the first time that we have displayed here, we actually had more students leave the district than new students coming into the district. That delta was about 17. So not an overly, or 13, not an overly significant movement, but it is part of a growing trend as you see the annual difference chart at the bottom. The leavers and newcomers have been getting closer and closer in terms of total numbers. And so as to where we used to see a significant number of newcomers into the district compared to leavers, we have started seeing that trend narrow, and this year we actually went inverted where we had more leavers than new students enrolling in the district. That's a trend that we're going to continue to watch. This is also a trend that we're going to continue to watch. This is looking, the chart on the left is looking at total births in a given year versus kindergarten enrollment across the district 5 years later. So when those students would be eligible for enrollment in the district, I would point you down to 2020 as the year in the bottom. That would be the 25-26 school year. You're seeing that there's a little bit of a gap between total births within our zip code versus elementary or kindergarten enrollment. But you see the projections going out to the right from there, and you're seeing that delta widen. That's a demographic estimate and projection at this point. We are hoping that that's not what we actually experience, but we need to make plans that that is a realistic phenomena that we may see going forward. That on the table on the right shows you that we've been enrolling roughly 92% of the births in our zip code when it's kindergarten enrollment time, but you'll see that projection drops to the mid or upper 80s in terms of enrollment capture from births within our zone. So that's a worrisome trend. Not only is the birth rate declining, but our ability to capture those students is declining as well, and projected to significantly decline from where it currently sits today. So again, we'll be watching this trend and making staffing plans accordingly based off that information. Kind of show you where we are grade level by grade level. Yellow is the highest grade level in any given year, and green is the second highest. Ninth grade seems to be the capturing point where it's almost always our highest grade level in any given year. That would be with student promotions from 8th grade, with new enrollment at the high school time frame, whether it's for participation in academics or extracurriculars or otherwise. But it's also because we know some students don't fully earn all the credits necessary to be a sophomore after that first year. So 9th grade is traditionally our highest enrollment, but I would show you that 5th grade this year is actually our second highest enrollment at a grade level. And so that kind of breaks the trend of it being mainly that growth in those high grade level enrollments at high school, as we're starting to see that now at a little bit lower. Ms. McCutcheon has pointed to it a couple of times, but a concerning trend for us is looking at the kinder first and second grades this year. Total enrollment, kinder first and second, is lower than total enrollment for seniors. And so that would mean as a district who's generally been growing, we either have a really big bubble class this year of seniors that are graduating, or we're really slowing down on those early education enrollments going forward. So again, another area that we're going to continue to monitor because that's not what we would expect in a growing district. Putting it all together, what does it look like for a 10-year forecast by grade level? This year, we had anemic growth. We essentially held flat from where we were last year. A snapshot enrollment review of roughly 19 from last year to this year. You'll see that demographic projections have really come back down to earth. When we were talking in 22-23, talking about that bond in May of 23, we were talking about some really large student growth area. We were talking greater than 4.5% all the way up to about 5.5% annual growth. Now demographic projections show about anywhere from a 1% to about a 4% topping out growth, with that sweet spot really being about 2.5% to 3% growth each year for the next 10 years. So again, we're seeing a slowdown in our enrollment trend. We're seeing a slowdown in projections of growth from our demographer, but we're not seeing contraction at this point. So we will have to make sure that we are mindful of what the trends show and what our enrollment actually is as we make our staffing decisions. This is just kind of a recap. You'll see that enrollment still is on a upward trajectory, but it is not nearly as fast as it was previously. When we talked in 22 about a bond in 23, we were looking at about 17,000 plus students. By the time we hit 33, 34, right now we're looking at about 14,000, 14.5 on the high range estimate. So that really has kind of come down as we've gotten more clarity and more years of actual data to look at. And then key takeaways, I'd point you to the enrollment forecast again. There's still projected growth, but it's about 14,800 students now by the end of the 2035-36 school year, as compared to the 17,000 plus students that we had talked about in 22-23. So with that, are there any questions that I can answer for the board about the demographic report?
How does that compare to districts around us?
Ooh, yeah, good question. So last month when we were doing the budget update, I had reached out to the other districts in Ellis County, and we are not alone in our stagnation or a little bit of a decline. There are some larger districts around us that are seeing growth, but it's not nearly at the pace that they anticipated that it would be a couple of years ago. So we're seeing a lot of slowdown. When we talk to Zonda, and they're looking more at the DFW Region 10 as a whole, they're seeing significant slowdown in the growth within Region 10. So less than 1% growth within our region, which is really a phenomenal number. If you kind of look out at all the activity that's happening, knowing that our region's about 130 school districts, and it goes pretty much all the way up to the Red River. It's a pretty wide range to see less than 1% growth on average across the districts.
Anything else, Mr. Calder? Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, next item on our agenda are informational items. Those are included in your packet for you to review at your own leisure. We'll move us into our consent agenda, which we have items A through Z. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda items?
Mr. President, I move that we approve agenda items A through Z.
A motion by Mr. McCutcheon.
A second.
I have a second by Mrs. Kriegel. Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Okay, we will now move to action item C, which will be removed for consideration tonight. So we will move to action item D, consideration with possible approval of TASB update 126 legal and local. Mr. Cagle.
Good evening, Board. Ms. McCutcheon. As is our practice, this is the second time I'm coming before you related to policy changes from Update 126, if you remember. There were quite a few. The legislature was in busy work, as you can see, as we discussed last go-around. The many legal changes which do not require y'all's action, but the local ones are really where your input is needed. And if you notice there are 29 local policies put forth, but we have looked at 4 of these that we are going to remove from y'all's consideration this evening. Now, I did put in all the slides, and I won't go through all of it as I did last time, but I did want to point out where these yellow ones were. And if you notice, all but one have to do with some changes in complaints and grievances. We are looking at these through our DOI, District of Innovation process, and we'll be coming to y'all in coming months to have some modifications to these local policy suggestions by TASB. This EIA is the only one that's not related to grievances or complaints, and this one is talking about some grading procedures, but primarily we're looking at some adjustments to the requirements that will change from having 2 in-person parent-teacher conferences to 1. But we'll be discussing those later this month at our DOI meeting and then coming before you again. Notice F and G, that's the one related to students and parents. And then finally GF, which is community members. If you remember, here was the many legal changes in policy. And finally, we are asking for action to approve the local policies as presented other than DGBA, EIA, F&G, and GF. Any questions?
Questions for Mr. Cagle? I know that's a lot of letters and a lot of policies.
This is quite a bit.
I entertain a motion to approve action item D as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Timmerman,
Second.
second by Mr. Pitts. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Say nay. Motion carries 7-0. All right.
Thank you, Board. Moving on, we also had a brief discussion about this item last month. This is related to Senate Bill 11.
Not to interrupt you, but I just want to put it on the record, it's action item E for discussion.
Yes, I'm sorry to
No
interrupt
problem.
you.
No problem.
Mr. President, thank you. So Senate Bill 11 requires action for the board to consider a resolution about a policy establishing a period of religious text reading that would be mandatory across all schools. Now, as you can see, I've shown you here DG legal and FNA legal, where these requirements are discussed. I do want to point out, as I did last month, that if this resolution is not approved, if you say we do not want to have this period, it does not restrict any student or faculty or staff member from taking time during their day to read whatever religious text they choose. So, but it does require a specific roll call vote from the board to approve or not approve this resolution. Now, after some discussion amongst the staff and looking into other districts in the area, we are recommending to not approve such a resolution. Any questions?
To specifically request a recall or a roll call vote?
It does.
Okay. All right, so I'll entertain a motion for action item E as presented.
Mr. President, I move that Waxahachie ISD does not adopt a policy requiring every campus of Waxahachie ISD to provide a period of prayer and reading of the Bible or other religious text as provided by Texas Education Code 25.0823.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. McCutcheon. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Timmerman. Any other discussion? Okay, I will go down call each individual's trustee's name, and you can state your vote publicly, please. Mr. Schofield? I vote we approve the recommendations presented by Mr. McCutcheon?
Approval out with.
Ms. Timmerman?
Approve.
Mr. Cooper?
Approve. Motion made by Mr. McCutcheon.
Ms. Kriegel?
Approve Mr. McCutcheon's
Mr. Pitts?
recommendation.
Nay.
And myself, I will say yay. So the motion will carry 6-1.
Thank you, Board.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to our next action item will be consideration with possible action to order an election of Board of Trustees, places 1 and 2 for Waxahachie Independent School District and approve Marvin Biomedical Academy as election polling location.
Thanks, sir. Board, it's that time of year where trustees places 1 and 2 are ending their terms, and so we're asking for you to call for an election for trustee places 1 and 2. Filing day, or filing deadline is actually this Friday at 5 p.m. So there's still time for candidates or potential candidates to file to run for a place for 1 or 2. But wanted to make you a little bit aware that there are some changes coming as it relates to election places. And so this year, the administration building at 411 North Gibson will not be an early voting site. So due to changes in state law, there have to be early voting sites, have to also be election day sites. And so that's not our traditional method in the past. And so in talking with the county elections administrator, we're moving towards compliance with the law as it was passed this last session. So this building will not be an early voting site this year. We will continue to use Marvin Biomedical Academy as an election day site. Going forward, that may change. We may look at using the former high school building. We may look at using J.W. Williams Gym for election site going forward as to not have an impact on an instructional campus. But for this year, we're asking for you to call an election or order an election. If we do not have a race, then that election would be canceled at that time. But we won't really know that until Friday, and we would need to have that election called at that time.
Any questions for Mr. Colvin? Okay, I entertain a motion to approve action item F as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Kriegel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Pitts. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, sir. Our next action item will be consideration with possible action to approve the fiscal year ended August 31st, 2025 audit report.
Thanks, sir. Board, I'd like to introduce Juan Santana with the accounting firm of Hankins Esup. He is here to deliver the audit report for the fiscal year ending August 31st, 2025.
Good evening, trustees of the board. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity given to us to continue serving the district. This is our second year. This year, there were significant delays due to the government shutdown, and as well a delay in the issuance of the compliance supplement. Compliance supplement is the document that contains all of the federal regulations for audits of federal programs. So therefore, that there was a span of time. Last year we presented in December of 2024. So therefore, that's the reason for our presentation here tonight. If we go to our auditor's report on page 3, the report is similar to last year. The only insertion would be that very small paragraph in the middle of the page titled Emphasis of the Matter. And that's mainly due to a new pronouncement that the district had basically to change the accounting for compensated absences, and it's under the provisions of Gatsby Statement 101. So the importance of this is that you will see an adjustment to the beginning net position of the district. However, as you can see at the end of the paragraph, our opinions have not been modified with respect to this matter. The rest of the auditor's report, it's an unmodified opinion, or formerly known as a clean opinion. So therefore, it's similar to prior year. Moving on to page number 6, the MD&A, or Management Discussion and Analysis, which basically gives the reader a brief description of the activities of the district throughout the year. We move to page 8 and 9. Page 8 shows the net position, which basically compares both governmental activities and the business type activities from fiscal year 2024 through fiscal year 2025. The most significant actions would be the increase in capital assets there in the second line. Basically is the net effect of additions of $115 million versus depreciation of approximately $10 million occurring during the year. Those additions, as you already know, respond to the amounts incurred for elementary school projects carried out throughout the year, and also the beginning of the construction project for the Waxahachie Creek High School. In terms of going a bit further down in the long-term liabilities, you would see a significant increase in that line of approximately $84 million, and that's basically the effect of new bond proceeds of approximately $148 million, less the retirement of approximately $43 million of related debt as a result of the refunding bonds. Moving on to page 9, that's the economic activity of the governmental activities and the business type as well. The most significant line items would be the total revenues, which increase approximately $19 million, and that's basically due to 14.8 million increase in investment and earnings. And that's basically because of the increase in investment positions occurred during the year as a result of the issuances, the bond issuances that occurred throughout the fiscal year 2025. There is just a small shift in the property taxes and the state grants. That will be approximately an increase of $2 million in the property taxes and a decrease in the state grants of approximately $3.7 million. The increase in property taxes mainly respond to, even though there was a small decrease in the M&O portion of the maintenance and operations, there was an increase in appraised values of new property additions throughout the year. The decrease in the state aid formula grants was mostly due to a slight decrease in the weighted average attendance numbers throughout the year. Moving a bit down further to the expenses, the most significant changes respond to approximately $5.5 million at the instruction expense line item at the top. Facilities and maintenance operations also increased by approximately $4 million, and that also responds to the increase in the additional infrastructure and the instructional activities in the new elementary schools. And also, the other important and significant increase was, of course, in the interest on long-term debt line, which approximately was or reached $9.7 million during the year. Moving to page 13. Page 13 includes the statement of net position. It is similar to last year. The statement of net position difference when comparing to the governmental funds is basically that it includes the long-term assets and long-term liabilities of the district. Moving forward to page 14, the statement of activities, it shows basically the result of the activities for the district, considering those long-term assets and liabilities activities throughout the year. The governmental funds follow on page 16. Basically, you would see the increase in the capital projects column, where the cash position approximated to $309,500,000 during fiscal year 2025. We go to page 20. Page 20 includes the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances for the governmental funds, which is basically the core of the activities of the district. It is similar in the sense of the payments of long-term liabilities, interest. You can see in line 81, in the code 81, the $115 million of basically capital outlays or the activities of construction that the district underwent during the year. And in the other financing sources, a bit further down, you would see $142 million plus the $5.9 million of premiums on issuance of the bonds, which were the additions of bond issuances during the year, the proceeds, sorry. That would be basically the most significant amounts and changes in the activities of the district for the year. The notes to the financial statements begin on page 29. They are significantly similar to prior years, being the most extensive part of those, the notes about the pension and the OPEB or other post-employment benefits. So basically, the rest of the financial statements include all of the required TEA schedules, similar as also in prior year. If we go to pages 83 and forward, that would be the federal awards section, which states that the major program this year was the IDEA-B for the conduction of our federal programs testing. There were no findings identified during the year. And the very last schedule included in page 91 would be the schedule of expenditures of federal awards, which totals all of the different programs and all of the amounts received by the district for the federal programs during the fiscal year 2025. During the year, and as part of our audit procedures, we receive full cooperation from management. There were no disagreements, and the information was provided with due care and adequate timely response. Are there any questions at this point with regards to the financial statements hereby presented?
Any questions, comments? I know it's a lot of information in a short amount of time. Okay, thank you very much, sir. Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the fiscal year ended August 31, 2025 audit report as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Timmerman. Second by Mr. McCutcheon. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Okay, moving on to action item. Action item H, consideration with possible action to approve alternative number 1 for fine arts renovations at Findlay Junior High at a cost not to exceed $6.5 million.
Thanks, sir. Board, you may remember that last year we did some expansion and renovation work at Findlay and at Howard. At the time, we were able to afford alternate number 1 over at Howard for renovations to their fine art spaces. We were unable to afford the renovation work at Findlay at that point. Tonight, we have gone back, we've looked at the fine arts renovation over at Findlay to get them on par with where Coleman and where Howard are. So tonight, we ask for your approval from Proposition A, an alternate to Findlay Junior High's original project to do fine arts renovation work at a cost not to exceed $6.5 million. These funds were identified due to project cost savings as we've done other Proposition A projects, and they've also been identified as investment earnings within the funds issued for Proposition A. So we ask for your approval tonight so that we can get working on this, and by the end of next school year, our 3 junior highs will all be on par with each other with fine arts.
Any questions, Mr. Collin? I'll entertain a motion to approve action item H as presented. Who's going? Ms. Timmerman, motion by Ms. Timmerman. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Schofield. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you,
Sir?
Board.
All right, action item I, consideration with possible approval of the proposed 2026-2027 Waxahachie ISD academic school calendar. Mrs. Mott.
Good evening, trustees and Ms. McCutcheon.
The process for our calendar development started this year on November 20th. I met with our district, our DEIC committee. I presented to them 2 draft calendars, one very similar to this year's and one with the full fall break that has been very popular and requested often. So I presented 2 drafts of those to the committee. The committee leaned very heavy toward more of a traditional calendar with a mini fall break. And so they went back to their campuses after that meeting on November 20th, and they solicited feedback from their campuses and departments. And we reconvened the DEIC on January the 14th, and we went through all of the feedback from all campuses and departments. And we narrowed that down and made adjustments to the calendar that the committee saw that needed to be made from the feedback. And then on February 3rd, I took that calendar to cabinet members and they reviewed it as well. So here is the proposed calendar, the academic calendar. A couple of things to note on here. It did have to undergo a quick revision last week because it is a UIL realignment year. And so that impacts homecoming. And so I made an adjustment here with homecoming. Homecoming this next year will be on September the 18th. Very early for us, but it is the best choice in light of our alignment and home game options for October. So I made that an early release day on September 18th in order for everyone to get to the parade. And then tried to retain the mini fall break that the committee really liked in October. So you'll see on there the October 9th day now becomes parent-teacher conferences for a full day. And the mini fall break on the, I'm sorry, I'm not able to see that, 12th and the 13th would be that 2 days off for that mini fall break. A couple of other things to note on this calendar. Early release there in December, right before the holiday break. The return in January is pretty typical, what we do every year. March for spring break, the committee did request that we move that spring break a little further into March. It used to be a big deal that we try to align that up with Navarro for dual credit. We used to try around Ellis County, everybody to have the same week. That's been a number of years since all of that has happened. The dual credit, they tell me it's not as big of a deal anymore, that our students are able to navigate that just fine if it doesn't perfectly align with Navarro. So the committee did ask that we push that back. They're hoping for better weather, I think, over spring break. And then April's a big testing month. We did try to bookend it with a little bit of a break for our teachers and staff, teachers and students. And then May, of course, we have graduation that Thursday, and that'll be a full day off, so Global can have their graduation that evening. I know that helps them greatly. And then, of course, WHS graduation would be on that Friday. And the last day for teachers on 187 contracts would be that Thursday. We did additionally designate specific work days for teachers. That was something they really asked for. So you can see those green, those neon green type days, those are designated work days. On the PL days, the pinkish red, those are half of professional learning and then half of a work day. So they get a little bit of both there. The state did require us this year to designate 2 bad weather days. Years past, we've had to do this. They're requesting that again. So we designated those 2 days in April. Now, we put them on the calendar, but the odds of us ever having to use those, we'd have to have a really bad winter. There are almost 8 days built into this calendar, extra minutes. So we would not, in all likelihood, have to use those April days, but they are designated. Any questions about the calendar or the process for development?
Ms. Mott, that last statement kind of confused me. So we have 8 days built in. Is that minutes or days?
Well, it adds up to almost 8 full days.
With our minutes?
Yes, with our minutes. There's 455 minutes in a day. And so you can see on the calendar, it gives those calculations down at the bottom, how many minutes we have built into this calendar. 75,600 is the minimum required by the state. We traditionally build in quite a few, so things like 2 weeks ago, we missed 3 days because of ice, we're able to not have to come back and make those up.
Right, but next year we'll have 2 full days of weather days built in also.
Yes, if in case we needed up to 10 days, we would have them, yes.
So that's 10 days.
If you use those 2 bad weather days, correct.
Thank you.
Ms. Ma, I want to clarify, it's not 8 days, it's 6.8, it's 7. 6.8, this font's so small, I can't see it. Yes, 6.8 days, I'm sorry. That's what's built in already.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2026-2027 Waxahachie ISD academic school calendar. Motion by Mr. Schofield, second by Mr. Cooper. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. And our last action item will be consideration with possible action to adopt a resolution to pay district staff during the district-wide inclement weather closure days activated by the superintendent under Board Policy EB Local on January 26th, 27th, and 28th, 2026.
Okay, and our final action item of the evening, the administration recommends that the Board of Trustees adopt the resolution to pay district staff during the district-wide inclement weather closure days activated by the superintendent under Board Policy EB Local on January 26th, 27th, and 28th. The recommendation does not negatively impact the operating budget as the payment of all contract work days for each employee is already an expense accounted for in the current year's budget. The resolution contemplates pay for employees to support the safety, morale, and retention of our staff.
Questions or comments? Okay, I entertain a motion to approve action item J as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Kriegel. Second by Mrs. Timmerman. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Say nay. Motion carries 7-0. And now I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Kriegel, second by Mr. Cooper. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you.